all of the bile from the left lobe of the liver connects here, and we'll call this the left common, and I just call it the left bile duct. And the blood from the right side comes over here and empties into it from the right lobe, and we'll call it the, how about the right bile duct? Or you could call it the right hepatic duct. The two hepatic ducts come together and they form a little duct here together, which is called the common hepatic duct, not the common bile duct, common hepatic duct. And it comes on, it comes out of the liver, and it comes down here and it runs across this little junction here with your gallbladder. And it can either take a right-hand turn and go out into your gallbladder, and if it does, it takes a little trip through this duct, which is called the cystic duct. God, I feel like I'm in church. All right, so sometimes between your meals, what happens is there's this little valve down here, you know, that I've talked to you about, the sphincter of Oddi, the duodenal papillae. This little valve kind of closes off between your meals, and the bile can't get down that way, so it backs up here into the gallbladder, and your gallbladder swells up and gets pretty big like that. And then when you eat a meal, especially if you eat a fatty meal, then there's a bunch, so now you got fat down in here, and now you've got all these enzymes that are released, and I told you about, there's 3 of them basically. We talked about 2 of them already. The third one was CCK, and CCK stands for cholecystokinin. And basically, cholecystokinin. Basically, cholecystokinin, when it's released, it's a signal to your gallbladder that says, hey, Mr. Gallbladder, we've got a bunch of food down here. In fact, we've got a bunch of fat down here. Would you release the valve, open the valve here, and let the bile come down? So it does. It opens the little valve down here. The gallbladder squeezes down. It pushes the bile on down and mixes with the food. Now, the reason that I tell that story is because a lot of patients that I would operate, I don't take their gallbladder out. They would come in and say, well, what happened? She said, oh, I got this terrible pain last night. Oh, okay. What time did it come on? Oh, it came on about 8:30. What time did you eat dinner last night? Oh, about 6 o'clock. What did you eat for dinner? Well, I had a pizza. I said, okay. Now, where was the pain? Well, first of all, I just kind of felt like I was kind of nauseated. And then I got this pain. It was right here in my back. And when they did that, when they made that move with their hand, I knew they had a gallbladder problem, because that's just the way it always was. It was referred pain to their back from their gallbladder up in front. And so sure enough, you'd do a gallbladder ultrasound, and they had a bunch of stones, and we'd recommend that we take their gallbladder out. And that's what you do. You just come in here and you find this duct. You make sure you cut that one and not this one or that one. That would be a really disaster. You cut this one and you clip it off. You divide the arteries that go to the gallbladder, and you just take the gallbladder and all the stones out with it. Oftentimes you do what's called a cholangiogram. You squirt some dye into this duct here to make sure that none of the stones have already gotten out of the gallbladder and gotten into the bile duct. This down here is called the common bile duct. I'm sorry I didn't mention that one. So the common bile duct is below the cystic duct, where it takes off here and goes on down. So that's really what gallbladder disease is all about. Yes?
Why not just remove the stones? Why remove the
Because they just come back. The problem really in the whole deal is a problem with the wall of the gallbladder, and that's why the stones formed in the first place.
What is it caused?
What?
What is it caused? Why is the stone on there? Why the stones are made? What is that cause? What's the cause?
What's the cause?
Yeah.
The stones are made of cholesterol. We all have cholesterol, but some things change. They're really common to develop during pregnancy, by the way. That's another thing you get to look forward to during pregnancy.
Unless yours has already been taken out. Yes.
Okay, now, the last thing I wanted to say, and then we'll go on, is, next time, is bile. What is bile? Bile is an
I'll let you guys adjust it. I zoomed in on it,
emulsifies
so
the fat.
I'm gonna fix it.
So the best way I know to describe that is think about a bottle of vinegar and oil, okay? Got it sitting on your table, it's got a good stopper on the top, and you shake it up really hard, shake it up, and you set it down, and now it all looks the same. It's the bile has been sort of emulsified and turned into tiny, tiny little droplets. Okay, but if you let that sit there a while, it's going to separate out again into oil's going to go to the top, vinegar's going to go to the bottom, right? Now, bile is a chemical that makes emulsification happen. It breaks those fat droplets up from big droplets into little tiny, tiny droplets that then can be absorbed and worked on better so that the enzymes can get at them better. If they're real tiny and they're in little bitty pieces, you can get at, the chemicals can get at it. Whereas if it's a big droplet, it's really hard. So bile is a chemical that causes emulsification to happen. Now you guys use emulsification in your homes every single week, I know. Because whenever you do your laundry, basically what you're doing is you put some detergent in there. Detergent is the same thing. If you take detergent and mix it in with that vinegar and oil and shake it up, it will cause complete emulsification on a chemical basis. And that's what bile does. It mixes with your fat, breaks it up into tiny little droplets, and then as it goes on downstream, your body can digest it and take care of it. Okay? Emulsification. Yes, ma'am?
What causes the kidney stone?
Kidney stones? Let's talk about that when we get to the kidney. What do you say?
Oh,
Kidney stones are caused by calcium, usually.